you're in the market for a short scale acoustic guitar, there's a lot to think about. Will it be comfortable to play? Will it sound good? In this video, I'll share with you 7 things to think about when buying a short scale acoustic guitar, along with some tests that you can do in the shop to make sure you find the right one for you. If you're new here, my name's Emily and I share tips to help you make music. The biggest difference with travel size guitars is the size of the body. I used to have a full-size dreadnought, and I found that because the body was so wide and so tall, it meant that when I played it, it pushed my shoulder up at a funny angle. And because the body itself was also deeper to get that resonant dreadnought sound, it meant that I had to reach around the guitar with a shoulder up like this and try to play it like that. And there's no wonder that I found it uncomfortable and really difficult to play. So I was really excited when I found out about travel size guitars, because it meant that I could find a guitar that was actually comfortable for me to play. It felt like the whole world of acoustic guitars has suddenly opened up. There is a huge variation in travel size guitar sizes and shapes, so the best thing you can do is go to a shop and just try them all out and see what feels comfortable to you. When I was trying to learn acoustic guitar on my full-size dreadnought, it was actually the width of the fretboard itself that made it difficult for me to play, and that's determined by the nut width, which is this bit at the top that the strings sit in. To test whether the nut width is right for you, try holding down some basic chord shapes, like a C for example, and check that you can hold that down using your fingertips and making sure that your hand is in a comfortable position and that you're not touching any other string with any part of your finger as you're playing. And try that for a few different chords and just check whether it's comfortable for you and you're not doing that. You might find that if the nut width is too wide for you, that you can't play with your fingertips because you're having to stretch more, which is what happened to me. So let's imagine that this was wider and actually the strings had moved up. I was having to flatten my hand to reach the higher strings, which meant that my fingers were touching the other strings, so I couldn't get a clear note from them. You may also find that the nut might be too tight for your fingers. So if you're holding down a chord, you are playing it with your fingertips, but the strings are just too close together for you, then you might need a wider nut. The nut also affects the distance between the strings at the bridge, so try some finger picking with and without a pick to see whether that distance is comfortable for you to play. Short scale guitars are sometimes called 3/4 size guitars, and I thought that meant that the scale length on the neck was going to be 3/4 the size of a standard guitar, but that's not the case at all. Then the scale length would be about 18.5 inches. That's about the scale length on my tenor ukulele, which you can see is quite a lot smaller. There is no standard for travel size guitar scales. One test you can do to see if the scale length is comfortable for you to play is at the top of the neck, where the distance between the frets is bigger. Just put a finger on the bottom E string across each of the frets and see whether that's a comfortable stretch for you. While fretting the strings, you might notice that they're a bit easier to press down than they are in a standard size acoustic, and it's because the scale length is shorter, which means the strings are under less tension, so they're easier to press down. Like all guitars, necks come in all kinds of shapes and depths, so while you're playing, check how comfortable it is for moving your thumb around, fretting your different chords, try some bar chords and see how your hand feels, because you want this neck depth and shape to be comfortable for you for playing for a long time. For the type of music I like to play, if I play on a neck that's too thin, I find that my hand becomes fatigued very quickly. Do you want to be able to plug your acoustic into an amplifier? Because if you do, you may want to buy one with electronics on board already. Obviously, not all acoustics come with electronics on board as standard. And in fact, even within particular model ranges, you might find that that manufacturer doesn't offer electronics on the wood combination that you like the best. For example, the Sitka Spruce Sapele GS Mini that I have doesn't have an option to have electronics on board. If you buy an acoustic without a pickup, you can always fit one yourself later. The beauty of an acoustic is that you can play it when it's not plugged in, and that makes the tone wood that the guitar's made from even more important than it is on an electric. So try out lots of different tone wood combinations. The classic wood combination for an acoustic is a spruce top with a rosewood back and sides, because it gives you that nice balance between the projection and the clarity from the spruce and then the warmth from the rosewood. If you prefer a warmer, richer sound, look for a wood like mahogany, rosewood or koa for the top and the back and sides of your guitar. For a brighter tone, look for spruce, maple or cedar woods. Even though short scale guitars have been used by successful artists like Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift, elitists will still look down on people for playing them because they're not standard full-size guitars. Well, just ignore them. Go and find a short scale guitar that makes music accessible for you so that you can start making music and having fun. Please like and subscribe for more music tips, and I'll see you in the next one.